You joined Old Dominion for those first couple of gigs. Weren't you originally subbing? In the band?
I heard Van Halen. I was just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that.
I just bought a 63 335.
Done. Where do you go for your haircut though? Because
I've been going to the same place for 10 years now. It's called Dandelion Salon. It's over in East.
Yeah, East.
I can be there in like 1 minute. So.
I had a great spot in Wedgwood, Houston, went out of business.
Oh yeah.
So then I started going to another place. The guy who cut my hair moved out of town, moved to like Pennsylvania or something.
See, what I do is I'm always like, I never make an appointment. So I'm just like, is there any room today for a haircut? And if they're like, no, I'm like, okay, forget it. And then I'll like call back. It's like, do you guys have anything today? And they're like, yeah. So I just go to whoever is available.
How do you not have a guy? I like to think if I was you, I would have a guy that will clear their schedule to give me a haircut. How is that not you? Like, and you pick up the phone and you go, hey, it's Brad from Old Dominion.
Yeah.
Can you fit me in? That doesn't happen. Like, you don't pull that card.
I'm a man of the people, dude. You know.
Why would you be a man of the people though? I feel like you spend your whole life trying to be a rock star. You finally get there. Why would you choose to be a man of the people?
I don't know. I tried an assistant for a little bit, but I didn't have anything to let her do. I was like, I just felt like I was trying to find stuff to like tell her to do.
To fire to do. She didn't go pick up your laundry or your dry cleaning
I
like
do my laundry.
Do other band members of the band have assistants or like no one really does?
Yeah, a couple of them, I think.
Oh, that'd be so great to have an assistant.
Well, I get it. If you got like kids and a whole bunch of shit, you got to be like dealing with. And I also don't cook any food. So
you do or you don't cook?
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better, but I'm mostly like a go out to eat guy. So
that's kind of my thing. But then you read all these studies that you go out to eat, you're going to live shorter because of all the ingredients that people put in food when you go out to eat. Versus if you're cooking, you can see what you're putting into the food. So that kind of inspires me to want to cook, but I don't have time to cook.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to like really try to enjoy it. You can't just be like, oh, God, I have to cook just to eat it.
Yeah. So what would you cook if you had to cook something?
The last thing I cooked, it was actually good. It was a salmon and like vegetable dish, but it was all in one pot. It was I've got a bunch of those nice Le Creuset pans and stuff.
Oh yeah. And those are classic. It's a staple. I've got two of them. Every kitchen needs those.
So I went on their website and they have all these recipes. So I just like cook recipes off their website and they're really good.
Oh, we'll take it. But you don't have a chef coming over, or not a chef, but like you don't have someone preparing meals or delivering like pre-made food. Like I feel like I know people who are just like really into fitness who have this done, who have things delivered to their house. Like,
I know.
And it just saves. It's so much easier because then you don't have to cook.
I know. You're right.
I don't do this either, so I was hoping you would be able to teach me
like
how to do it. Yeah. No, I just thought you'd give me some advice on how to do it.
No, man, I should have asked her to do that for me before I told her there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, that would have been great.
There's something about pre-made meals that I don't know. Maybe
they're awful. They all suck.
Yeah,
that's why when I've tried it, they're always horrible. And they always say no, these are actually really good, but they're never good. They're horrible.
Yeah,
that's what
you're like. Oh, the blue whatever. That's the one.
That's the one that's like really? that one's actually really good. No, they're horrible. Yeah. They're all awful. Brad's got a new album out right now. No, it's not. Yeah, it's gonna. By the time this comes out, it's gonna be out. Oh, when's it coming out? Next Friday?
The 19th.
What is that? That's next Friday. Parallel Love. You and I have talked about this before, which is we both came up as guitar players loving Guns N' Roses.
That's right.
Is that why you started playing guitar? Was because you wanted to be like Slash?
Yeah, pretty much.
Really?
I mean, you remember those magazines like Hit Parader and all this? I literally would like cut like little pictures of them out and like, I think, in the four walls of my bedroom, I think like 3 3/4 were literally covered in cutouts of like Hit Parader and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty obsessed.
Because you wanted to be a musician or you just like the culture? Or
well, yeah, everything. Like I definitely, Guns N' Roses was the first one I was like, damn. Like, I mean, I remember even down to like, I'd be like, oh, like I like veins like in his arms and like the way that like when he plays, like I was very.
How do I get my veins to pop out?
Why don't I have veins?
Exactly. What's up with that?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was what you were trying to figure out.
Exactly. And I just remember seeing like that Paradise City video and being like, I want to do that. It looks really fun.
But was that the one? Like, is that because wasn't your first guitar Les Paul, or you found your dad's Yamaha?
My acoustic, which I just literally got back a few days ago. It had like the binding was coming undone and had a couple little holes in it. So I brought it to Glacier and they fixed it up. So
what'd they do to it? There were holes in the...
Like, I think I spent $1,400 like doing everything it needs to be done. And they're like, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, this is the guitar I learned how to play guitar on. So yes, I want to do it.
And now does it play really great?
I think I'm actually going to use it.
No way.
Next week for the show. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to bring it out on the show?
Like for my own thing. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Wait, so you found this guitar in the attic? In the attic? Well, why did your dad have it? Does he play too?
Yeah, he played growing up. He actually played in a band. I don't know if I told you this, with Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
What?
In high school.
Because you're from Connecticut or that area, right?
Yeah.
So he knew Steven Tyler, or...
I'll show you this. Not that it matters for the podcast.
No, but if you send me the image, we could fly it in. Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know it's at the top of these 10,000 pictures, so I can find it really easy. So there's my dad, and there's Steven Tyler right there.
Wait, that's outrageous.
Dressed up like the Beatles.
When he was Steven, what was his name?
Steven Tallarico.
Steven Tallarico, exactly. Yeah. So did he take guitar seriously? Like, is he a good guitar player?
I mean, no. He can play like just some bar chords and stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't really play much. But I actually wrote a song several years ago with Marty Fredrickson, who used to produce some of the, I guess, later Aerosmith stuff.
Yeah.
And I showed him that picture. And he was like, oh my God. He goes, you got to send that to me. So he sent it to Steven. And then, like, after I left to write, he texted me. He's like, all right, give me your dad's number. And Steven wants to call your dad. So, like, I'm like, told my dad, like, hey, you're going to be getting a call from a weird number. And so an hour later, he's like, oh my God. He's like, Steven Tyler called me. He's like, we talked for an hour about all these people we used to know and stuff. And he goes, you know who he reminded me of? He said, me. He sounded just like me.
Wait, what do you mean, Steven Tyler? Yeah, Steven sounds just like him.
Because they're like both kids from the Bronx, like.
Yeah. Wait, so you find the guitar in the attic, and then do you start playing? Is this before you were so into Guns N' Roses?
Yeah, well, actually, right around that time. Like, I remember some of the first songs I was trying to learn were like Patience and like Used to Love Her and stuff like that. I remember like my fingers hurting trying to figure out how to play.
But you just felt like, okay, Slash is playing an acoustic guitar, this is a guitar. So I guess somehow the songs have to be in here. Like, you had no idea how to do this.
No, I taught myself.
You were just, how do you know how you even tune the guitar though? Like,
well, I might have got like, a basic book of like, here's how like the dots, like here's how you make those chords. I don't know. I guess I learned how to tune it. I don't even remember learning how to tune it, but I used to try to learn the songs like on cassettes. Like, I'd be in front of the cassette player, like rewinding it back, trying to figure out. And then of course I'm learning. I'm like, he's obviously playing. I can't play these songs on the acoustic guitar. Most of them because they're
on a Les Paul, right?
So after I think I showed, you have to show your parents that you're serious. They finally let me get an electric guitar. That's what
you got. A Les Paul, right? That was his first guitar because of Slash, right?
Yeah.
Was it what you thought it would be? Because my first good guitar was a Les Paul. I think because of Slash and Jimmy Page. But when I got it, it wasn't really what I thought it was going to be.
I got a studio.
You got a studio. What, in Cherry?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Like the red wine color?
Yeah. Where you see the grain through the guitar. That's everyone's first Les Paul, I feel like.
I was pretty stoked on it though. But yeah, I mean, it's not a.
It kind of is though. Like,
a bad guitar. I mean, I still play a studio on one song in the Old Dominion set that my college roommate sold me for $400 on for just a little slide part on Hawaii. That song Hawaii. I play that on the road.
Why? Because
because it's a guitar that I have
that you have, and you needed a guitar. You needed to insert a guitar into that slot. And
exactly.
You said, we're gonna do the studio.
Yeah.
Is that so? Do you basically just learn endless songs, or you try to learn endless songs? Is that how you figure out how to play guitar?
That's how I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also went. There was a thing called the National Guitar Summer Workshop. Up in upstate Connecticut. It was like guitar camp basically.
Yeah.
So now I went there for a week, 2 different summers where, you sign up for blues licks 101 and then whatever, jazz theory. And you have a roommate that, you guys are jamming and then every night they'll have a staff performance and they'll bring in crazy guitar players and stuff.
Did you strive to, because I feel like your superpower as a guitar is playing a lot of like more rhythmic parts and just nailing them and playing more parts around the vocal. But you're like, I don't think of you as a shredder.
No, I'm not.
Did you aspire to be at any point?
No, that's
like that was never interesting
when I
to you.
heard Van Halen. I was just like, first of all, it didn't like capture me like the Allman Brothers, just like the sound of it. But I was also like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that.
That's kind of how I felt.
So I'm like, I'm not even going to try to do that.
Yeah. So what would you spend your time focusing on?
I would learn. I would play along, in my room to a lot of the Guns N' Roses records, Appetite. Some of the like that first Black Crowes record, Shake Your Money Maker. I remember playing to that, and then like Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. I had definitely a window where I was into that. And then I got when I was going to college. I think I was already into Ithaca, and I was on the waiting list for James Madison. And I think Ithaca was like $27,000 and James Madison was like 12. And my dad was like, if you go to JMU, I'll buy you a new guitar and a new amp and I'll pay for your spring break. And
Are you serious?
I was like, cool.
Done. You didn't care.
So he somehow got me off the waiting list there and I ended up going there, but he bought me like a nice, like a VHT. That was the first like nice kind of tube amp. Actually, not the first tube amp, but that was a nice amp. And I got a Schecter, like a Strat model, which was actually kind of a nice guitar. I
feel like everyone's playing Schecters now.
But they're not like, I don't know. Maybe this one almost looked like a Mark Knopfler looking guitar, like very like bird's eye maple-y. I don't know. Anyway, but I remember being down in the basement, playing Stevie Ray Vaughan loud, and then when it was dinner time, they flick the lights, turn the lights on.
That was my experience too. That's exactly what happened. Because that was the only place I could play was in the basement.
Yeah.
And then they would flick the lights in the room over, but I could see the room, and then I would come upstairs. Or sometimes I would just ignore it, pretend I was looking the other way.
Yeah.
But did you think you were going to be a guitar player? Was that, or did you think you were just really into guitar?
Oh no, like I was like, I want to be a rock star.
Yeah, right, of course. When you joined Old Dominion for those first couple of gigs, weren't you originally subbing?
Yeah.
In the band?
Yeah, I was subbing for another guy that I went to college with, Devin Malone, who still plays guitar a lot of records in town now. He was playing for Hunter Hayes at the time also. So he was in Old Dominion for a while. They were a band many years before I joined. And, I guess they didn't really have a whole lot going on. So I would just play number one because, I needed the $75 or whatever they were gonna pay me. And I also really liked their music. And I was, as a songwriter, I moved here to be a songwriter. I swore that I would never be in another band again when I moved here because I was just tired of it. I just had been in too many vans and stuff that when I moved here, I was like, that's it. I'm just gonna write songs. But
a part of you wanted to be like, when I had Matt on the podcast, I was like, Matt was like, I moved here to be a songwriter. And I was like, I don't believe that for a second. How do you move here not expecting or not wanting to be a rock star? Like, you guys are good looking guys. All of you can sing. You can all write. You can all play. How are you thinking, like, why are you not moving here to be a rock star?
I literally, because I almost quit music. Like when I was living in New York City and I quit the band I was in from DC. I was like, that's it. I'm like, I can't take it. I can't get another van. I can't, lost the record deal. And I was going to be like I don't know, my Aunt Paula's boyfriend at the time was like a video editor. And I was like, went in the studio with him. I was like reading some books. I'm like, maybe I'll be like a video editor guy or something.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, you should that's like, don't give up now. I was like, you can move to Nashville or whatever. So I was like, all right. I called him one day. I was like, I'm on my way. I'm going down, So like, and I just really was like, I know I can make money writing songs down here. That's why.
Well, what did you think the path was going to be? To get a publishing deal?
Yeah.
And that was going to basically be the way you were going to make money.
Which is what I did.
Yeah. And then, but how did you figure out? So who calls you and says, hey, Old Dominion needs a guitar player?
I guess Devin did, So then they.
It's the dumbest thing he ever did, right?
I don't know, who knows? But after a while, they asked him, hey man, you got to decide. You're either in our band or here in Hunter Hayes. And, to his credit, he'd been in the band for a while. Nothing was really going on. And Hunter Hayes was pretty big at that time. And he had bills to pay and stuff. So he was like, he made his decision that he wanted to do that. So when they asked me to be in the band, and I was like, shit, I'm not going to be getting paid $100 a show.
That was why they asked you to join the band.
It was going to be cheaper.
Because if you were in the band, they weren't going to have to pay you, basically,
exactly.
was the situation.
But they had just at that point gotten management with Clint Hyam. And, like I said, I liked their music. I really liked the songs they were writing, and I was really interested in writing with them, and so I was like, you know what?
What was the big turning point? Because weren't you guys first really big in like weird country markets? Like you guys were big in like Chicago and Boston.
I don't know if we were big anywhere.
But you were like, your bigger markets were not like traditional country markets originally, right? Am I right about that? Or is that, do I have that wrong?
Like Chicago is notoriously a kind of a big country market, I feel like, which it didn't make any sense to me at first, but now I realize, that there's a lot of rural areas around Chicago that feed it. And Ed Warham is did such a great job of building the country music. Joe's on Weed and all that stuff. So, that was the first place we ever sold out was Joe's.
Did you guys strive to be, you were in Nashville and I guess you guys were country fans, but were you like, hey, we're going to start a country band, or did you just think that country was the space where you guys could actually have a band?
I think that's what it was. It was just like, we're here, like, we're all writing country music, we can't help, like, we're going to put our own spin on it, our own sort of rock and roll spin. Yeah. And, they definitely had a thing going on, before I joined that lyrically was pretty cool, pretty fresh, pretty clever. And so I think, that's always kind of stuck by our songs and has been a thread in the band for sure. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think we're the most country of country bands, but we are where we are,
I gotta get into a band. Is it just the greatest to be in a band? Do you know how many people say they want to be in a band like Old Dominion? Like, I hang around a ton of people who are like, yeah, the only way I'd go on the road is if I was in a band like Old Dominion. That seems so fun. I swear to God, people say that all the time. I hear that all the time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, is it just the greatest to be in a band, or is it like suck because you're always around the same guys and you get sick of them?
No, we actually get along pretty well. We laugh our asses off pretty much all the time. Of course, everyone gets on each other's nerves here and there, but I think it's pretty minimal. We have a great time together, and it's amazing, man. 99.9% of musicians don't get to where we are. So
don't get to be.
If I'm complaining, someone needs to be smacking me. It's pretty awesome.
Do you guys, because Matt said he almost thought it could be an interesting idea to almost have like an Old Dominion band development program, or he was like, I think we should figure out how to bring more bands into country music. And that you guys could be the one to help do that. Maybe you could find a young band or put a young band together. Do you feel like you'd be well positioned to do that?
Yeah, I think, I think we could, if we really wanted to turn our attention to that. Yeah. Especially with, Roxy, she's always showing me all the, she has to look at all these new artists. So I'm always seeing all these people that aren't signed, and,
you've got to be in a great position to do that. I feel like you could take, you probably know a good young guitar player in town. You probably know a great vocalist, singer. I think you could put
assemble like the Backstreet
and you could
Boys
have,
of
yes, and I think you could have back end on it forever and make a ton of money. I think that'd be a great idea.
That's a good idea.
Think about it. Just think about it. Okay. See how it sets. Okay, wait. Brad's got a new album, Parallel Love. Is this your like debut project as a solo artist?
I had one little other thing called Malibu Blue that I think was before Old Dominion. It was just like a little EP that I do like some of the songs on there though. But this is the first real thing that like is actually.
Yeah. Was this like itching at you to put something out or to write something?
Yeah. There's just so many songs that you write over the years, and they're just songs that don't sound like Old Dominion. I'm more of a folky sort of James Taylor singer-songwriter kind of dude. And, I just, because of the band, I had the ways and means to just kind of pay for it myself and take my time and do it and make it sound how I want it to sound. And I didn't really have any grand aspirations for it. That's what was kind of funny. Like when I handed it into management and the label, I was just like, hey, I made this, check it out.
Do you expect them to put it out? Like, because that's not really, is that part of the deal?
Well, no, I think contractually, like they have the right of first refusal if they want to put it out or whatever. Yeah. But I don't know what they're gonna do. Like I have no following. There's no, I'm sure they have a million other artists they're trying to break or whatever.
But they want to keep you happy. That's kind of my takeaway. They want you to be happy with them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, like, they were like, this is great. What's your plan? And I was like, well, if you guys didn't like it, that was the end of my plan. I was just going to like send it to my mom and call it a day. I wasn't like going to go shopping around.
Does she like when you sent her music? Like,
yeah. She's like the biggest Old Dominion fan.
Oh, see, that makes sense. So you turn it in, and why do they push you to put it out? Or they say, oh, what
they
this
just
actually...
really liked it. They were like, we should put this out. And I was like, awesome. Like, wow, what a great reaction. So from there, it's just been so fun already.
What did you turn in? Because you have, like, there's the song, Oh Darling, that plays. You've had this song for like 10 years, right? It's not even a song though. What is it?
It is a whole song.
Is that the point?
But I just broke it up.
Why do you do that?
Well, that was actually my girlfriend Roxy's idea also. She was like, you should split that up into, like, make it an interlude. And I was like, that's actually a good idea.
Why is that a good idea though? Why did she come up with this? It's just this thing that's like picked. It comes up 3 times over the album.
See, this is the first verse, and then I forget if it goes to like the last, when it does the last version of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the record, it goes to the chorus.
So is that the first time you hear the chorus?
That's the first time you hear the chorus, yeah.
Wait. Here's the second version. This is the Oh Darling interlude.
Different key.
This is verse 2.
So you
modulate it.
I changed it so that it will go into the next song in the same key.
Oh. Well, I don't understand why this is a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I like it. It's very creative. But I don't understand how Roxy heard this song and she goes, what you should do? You should split. It's genius.
It kind of is.
Why is that incredible?
I don't know. It was kind of weird. And again, I just was trying to do something that was a little more artsy and weird. And I was like,
I think it's cool. Yeah. Wait, so how'd you write this? Or what is this? Did you write this about someone? You wrote this 10 years ago. You've been singing on this, right?
Yeah. I picked up my guitar one day and like went to just like play a G chord or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, he had tuned it to some weird tuning, which I think was an open E but I was like, what the heck is going on with this guitar? And so then like, it was like a new instrument, I didn't really know how to play it. And
yeah, right.
So it kind of spawned that lick. And then, that's just a song about, I don't know why I even wrote it at that particular time, but, I think every musician's fear is, you're gone a lot. Is life at home going to pass you by? And do people like you for who you are or what you do or sing, so.
No, that makes sense though.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason that, it kind of works as an interlude. Like it's about being a musician. It's about, singing, traveling. And then it goes into that first song, Church Bells and Train Whistles, which is basically about that also. Yeah.
I love that song. I got right here. Let's see if it works. What's the chorus? You're a little more church bells and train whistles?
I'm a little bit church bells and train whistles. Like I'm both.
You're both.
I want to stay home,
train whistles? But you gotta go.
The sound of the train whistle. It's inherently a sound of traveling.
Yes. Yeah. This song I love, and I love the way the interlude comes into this. The Oh Darling flows into it. It is good, right?
Yeah.
It just feels a little more theatrical, or like a little more intentional, right? Or it bonds the work together.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is actually an album as opposed to
totally not just like
a collection of songs. Wait, but the song that I really love is this one.
Yeah.
Crazy Life. There's a line in here that I love that maybe we'll get to. Is
It's the sunglasses line?
No. Hold on, let's just listen to it.
Have you ever been here before? Sunset Marquee?
No. Where is Sunset Marquee? In LA? No. It's this line right here coming up.
Oh, I think
this just sounds great. Who played drums on it? Who did that?
Fred Elchingham. And the girls. Well,
Why is that a great line?
Because it should rhyme with pretty.
With pretty. You can easily say pretty, but why is it better to just say, Why is that better as a songwriter? Because is it just cool?
Yeah.
Because you don't even have to say it.
Yeah, it's like She touching his chest. Now she takes off her dress. You know, the killer song that he could say dick, but he doesn't. He rhymes it. He doesn't rhyme it.
Wait, yeah. I've never thought about that when I've listened to that song.
What? Now his stomach is sick. And it's all in my head. And she's touching his chest. Now she.
That was your inspiration. First of all, I've never put that together. Probably because I've been hearing that song so long that I just know that line. I've never thought about that. But was that?
I mean, it crossed my mind. I don't know if it was like I want to do something like.
But did you write pretty? Like that's the line pretty, and then did you go wait a second? This would sound less.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I just said,
it's such an obvious rhyme. Like yeah.
That is such a genius lyrical thing, isn't it?
Thank you.
But why? Like, is that the kind of thing you do when you write 100 songs? You just go, I don't even need to rhyme anymore. I'm just gonna say, yeah, you know.
Well, yeah, because
maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know.
No, there is a certain thing like of, breaking the rules that is actually the interesting parts of. Usually, the interesting thing in songs. If everything the song unfolds and you're expecting it does what you're expecting it to do, it's usually not that great.
It's not that great, right?
Yeah.
That's okay, wait, this last song I gotta point out. Okay, this is Lover and a Friend. Mm-hmm. I don't know who you wrote this for. I don't know when this was written. But is this the best part about being a songwriter? Is that if you're with someone, you just write them a song.
It doesn't hurt.
It's such a turn on. Like, I can't do this, Brad, because I'm not a songwriter. Like, and I couldn't even if I was dating someone and I wrote a song for them, they would leave me because the song would be horrible. But you can actually pull this off. Is that just the greatest thing to have that ability?
It is. It's
how much of a labor of love is it really to write a song, or is it so easy because you're writing them every day?
It depends. This song took a long time to finish.
Really? Why?
Because I don't know. I started on the guitar, the acoustic guitar, and I had it for a while. I couldn't figure out, where to land the hook and stuff. I don't know. I was just always messing around with different chords. But then when I finally took it to the piano is when it sort of like, I was like, oh.
But what were you chasing? Were you chasing writing a song for someone, or you just thought it was a cool concept and you were like...
I mean, I think at the time, I obviously have someone in my life that is, has definitely inspired some songs, probably that one also. But I think I was listening to Nick Lowe at that point, and he's like... he has this one song. It's like, you look like butter could melt in your mouth. And then there's like this giant space. It's like, I know you could. Like super like the opposite of like, a lot of like these like modern country songs have so many words and it's always like rapid fire. Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to do a song that, this is, I can't stop thinking about it, baby. Just like super spaced out. So I think musically that may have been the inspiration for it. And then lyrically,
Are you writing these songs just for artistic expression because you just like writing them? Or do you go in thinking maybe you'll write an Old Dominion song but become something else? And you go, Old Dominion would never cut. Like, what motivates you to get up and write these songs?
Now, especially,
for this album, let's say.
Pretty much like, Church Bells and Trade Missiles is a song that I did write like in a co-write with Steven Wilson Jr. and Ben West. And that song has been pitched around. Nobody wanted to. I actually tried to get the band to record it, and they didn't want to record it.
Really? What did they say to you? How did they say this song isn't going to work for us?
I think.
Like, take me into the room. You go, hey guys, Ringo over here. I got a song. No, I'm kidding. You go. You pitch them a song, and what do they say? Or they don't say anything, and that's the point.
No, I think Ramsey had a problem. He's like the fool for the porch and the fiddle. He was like, I don't know. Like, I'm really a fool for it. I'm like, it's just a metaphor, Anyway, everyone's got their reason.
Yeah.
Okay. And I get it. It's not like the most obvious Old Dominion song of all time.
Yeah.
But most of these songs, I wrote most of them by myself, and it's like, I know pretty immediately, especially now, which I write by myself more than ever.
75% of this record, I feel like you running around.
So it's like, I know immediately that it's not gonna. I want to write it myself, and it's not gonna be anyone else's song. I used to start these ideas, and then I would bring them in, And then I would finish them in a regular co-write, and they would always be like not what I wanted to say, but then also like not commercial enough to like be. It would just be like a waste of an idea.
Yeah, right.
It got pulled into just the wrong ways,
Yeah. So how far are you going to take this? Like you're doing a show next week, I think, which may have already happened by the time everyone listens to this. You missed the opportunity to see Brad. You should have stayed up to date if you missed it. But like, would you do a couple dates solo? Would you put a band together?
Yeah, I think I have I have too many dates already, actually.
Like doing your own solo stuff, basically.
Yeah, like all of October and a little bit of November. We're going to be, nationwide, all over the place, from New York.
Wait, but as a solo?
Yeah,
or, really?
With a band. Yeah.
Are you going to be able to deal with the fact that the amenities are going to be different?
I don't know.
Solo.
I don't know.
Then with
I gotta say, the only thing that's important is we are on a bus, and
you are going to be on a bus.
Yes, and our tour manager from Old Dominion and our sound guy have agreed to do it. So I'm like, that because he's like
really one of your really good friends, right? So
I love those guys, and I mean they just
where are you gonna play?
The best at what they do. We're playing actually there was supposed to be a show at the Franklin Theater that was supposed to be the first show, but we had to cancel it because we got a private and Old Dominion show. But we're just playing like little theater. I think like Gramercy Theater in New York.
And who's gonna come out? Like Old Dominion fans? I think you have fans.
I have no idea.
Like, are you taking support with you?
No,
this is just you. I'm gonna come to one of these shows.
Yeah, you gotta come.
It's an evening with Brad. I'm gonna come in New York.
Yeah.
Is there really a New York date?
Yeah. There's also. Have you ever heard of the Levitt Pavilion in Connecticut?
Yeah, I've played the Levitt Pavilion.
We're playing there.
Maybe I'll come to that show.
Yeah.
Did you see shows? Was that around when you were growing up there? Yeah.
It was like a little wooden shack.
That's like an amphitheater.
Yeah.
It's like a little tiny amphitheater.
I just looked it up and I was like, oh my God.
I think Dawes played there recently or something. Like,
yeah, it was literally like, when I was going there, it was just like a plywood shed.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's crazy. Is there a difference in your mind between, like, did you have to develop a skill to be a session guitar player versus being a live guitar player? Because you play all the Old Dominion tracks, you play everything on this.
No, actually, I don't play. I only play acoustic on this. I don't.
Oh, wait, on what? On this record?
Yeah, these are all those. The electric guitars are all. I think I played a couple of rhythm parts.
Wait. Why would you not play the electric guitars on this album?
Because
you just didn't want.
Very stressful for me to do that. Even in the studio with Old Dominion, I have to. It's always kind of like and I just don't want it to. I didn't want it to sound like me playing I wanted to be the guy that was playing the acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitar is my favorite guitar. Like when I'm around the house, I'm never playing electric guitars. I'm always playing acoustic guitars. So that's kind of what I gravitate towards anyway. And I just wanted some other people to play on it,
So who do you call to do it?
Chris Donegan.
Okay, yeah.
He played on the four. He played on Lover and a Friend, Parallel Love, Where You Been, and the other one I did there, which is escaping my mind right now. Anyway, and then Mark Sibilia, he produced Question the Universe and Afraid to Lose, and he's like a freaking mad scientist. Like he played on Question the Universe, he played every instrument except for I played the piano and I played the acoustic guitar. But he played like organ, whirly, crazy lap steel thing, drums, bass.
So does that make it way easier to?
That actually the songs with him took way longer, just because when you're in a band, when you're with like studio guys, it's like after the third time they're like,
can we move on?
They're like, we pretty much nailed it.
We nailed it. Yeah.
I mean, they'll do.
Is that kind of you though too? Like when you're in with Old Dominion, is that the case?
No.
What do you mean? You don't nail it within a couple takes?
No.
But let me ask you this: if it wasn't your band, like if you were recording for another artist, would you feel like it was nailed? Like, is the reason you don't nail it is because you feel like this is so personal to me? I want to go in and make sure this is as perfect as it can be.
Well,
like, is that attention to detail?
I think we are just way less experienced in the studio, and I think it just takes us a longer time to like find the vibe of what the song is.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that professional studio musicians don't miss from time to time. I'm sure they do.
But when you guys just put out that music video for your new single "Coming Home,"
mm-hmm.
you guys are all in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the first take? Are you faking that in the studio?
No, that was one song. It took us like a day and a half. I think I think the 4 songs I did on this took one day.
It took one day. Oh, yeah. Because you had the band. Because you were like, we've got the session guys. It's easy.
Right.
So then when you go out and play this, are you going to learn the guitar parts, or are you going to play acoustic guitar?
I'm playing acoustic. So I think once, I'm not like, this week I'm just doing the record. I'm just going to play acoustic and sing. I'm going to play piano too. But when we go on the road for the full show, I'll probably end up playing electric just on a couple songs, just so that people can be like, oh, he does that too.
He's so talented. So versatile.
Look at him, he's so talented.
Isn't that funny when people go, wait, you play acoustic and electric? Like as if they're 2 totally different instruments. Right. I always think that's funny.
People are easily pleased. Right?
But when you're with Old Dominion, what are you playing through? Like, do you have real amps out?
Oh yeah, I can't.
You haven't moved over to the
no. I can't.
Me too. What's wrong with us? Why is everyone?
No, dude, it's not us. We're
what's right.
Yeah,
is the world. But have you tried any of that stuff? Like,
we have like our B rig where if we have to fly somewhere like quickly that we can't bring the whole gear, there's a Kemper that models like it's modeled my amp.
Yeah,
but it actually sounds fine. But I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And then by the end of the show, I'm like, I don't want to hear this anymore.
How are you hearing it though? Through monitors or ears?
Ears.
So you think the Kemper sounds worse through your ears than your amp does?
Yeah. It's just different.
It's just different.
And I don't, I haven't had time. I haven't like spent a whole lot of time dialing it in, but it's just a little more brittle. It doesn't quite have the power. But I mean, like I was watching a show the other day somewhere and the band had, whoever the band was had digital amps. And then Lucas Nelson came up to play and he like brought his like a real amp up there and just to sit in for like one song.
Oh, he sounded
and
amazing.
I was like, oh yes.
Like he sounded amazing.
Yeah. It was like, now I can hear the guitar and it sounds awesome.
Isn't that funny? I was at a show recently and I was like, the guitars sound horrible. And then I was talking to them afterwards and it was all one of these modelers. Yeah. I don't know if I'll say the brand. No. Leave the brand name out of it.
You can't. I mean, it's just like, why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I guess it's easier for if you it's definitely lighter.
If you had the team to set up the rig though and do it, why would you not bring the stuff? Wait, so what do you play through? I feel like you've told me that. You've got,
on the road, it's a DC-30, matchless DC-30.
It's just one plugged in, and
just one. I know. Honestly, I've had that name for so long. I kind of want to get something that has a little more headroom in it. That thing breaks up a little too soon, so I'd like to get something that is a little cleaner. But I'm just not like a super gear nerd, so I'm like, this sounds fine.
Do you collect any of this stuff, or you're like, do you care about this stuff?
I've been starting to buy some bigger guitars for sure.
Like, what's a big guitar for you? Like what are you getting?
I just bought a 63 335 like a few months ago.
That's a real guitar.
That was like, I actually bought it from Rob McNally, who's a session guy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I just bought a 54 J45 like a few weeks ago or a couple months ago in Texas. I have a nice old Martin D18. I have I think a 61 Strat with a 63 neck that that guitar sits at home. It's kind of finicky, so I'll bring it in the studio, but it doesn't really. It's not working live.
Yeah. But do you collect these because you just like the fact that they're old and they're historic, or do you think they really sound like, does that 335 really sound incredible? I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and honestly, I have another 335 that I think it's, I don't know, maybe a 65. Like the 63 has the PAF pickups, which are very sought after.
Yeah. And do you like the way they sound, or are they almost thinner than you would think they would be?
Well, that guitar is actually a little darker than the 65 that I have that doesn't have PAFs in it. When I first brought the 63 home, I was playing it through a deluxe, and I was like, this thing sounds insane. Like, and it's a little dark on the road, but so I'll go back and forth. Like if at sound check, I like one over the other, I'll
335.
Yeah, like for that day, I'll tune that one down and use it more. I'll use whichever one sounds better in the room that day.
That's good to have, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like you're a Strat guy, right? Do you consider yourself a Strat guy, or just in the band?
That blue. I think just the band.
Yeah.
I think like in general, I'm more of a Gibson guy. I have a Les Paul that they gave me. It's like one of those reissues, Honeyburst. Like maybe it's a 60 or something. It is such a nice guitar. A lot of times new guitars, I don't know. I don't really love them that much, but this Gibson is badass.
It was really good.
Yeah.
When I had Matt on, he was telling the story about how One Man Band, you guys wrote it backstage minutes before going on.
Yeah, we started the idea. Yeah.
How much of the idea did you have in that moment, right before you went on?
I think
what do you come up with?
Literally just like, I don't want to be one man band. We were just like the groove, and then it was like, okay, we gotta go. Like it was literally like that soon.
And do you almost think that writing a hit song was maybe more important than going on and playing the show? Like, would you have almost delayed the show to finish that song?
It was too far. I mean, like the intro music was playing.
God.
It was time to go on.
And you were worried that if you had gone and played the show, everyone might have forgotten that idea, basically.
Oh yeah,
for that song. No one.
I think he might have recorded it like while we were.
Where's that recording? That would be a fun thing to have.
It's probably on his phone somewhere.
That would be a fun thing to have. And then when did you finish the song?
We finished it in God, I don't know, the dressing room of some stadium. Maybe it was Denver. Yeah, we finished it with Josh Osborne, and it was kind of this like reggae. Like it was almost kind of the why you gotta be so rude, like that vibe. Like I don't wanna be it was supposed to be like an up tempo, which we should cut it like that just for fun one time. But then later I was like playing that lick in the dressing room. I was exactly like going into the studio soon to record it, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna play? Like I gotta think, I'm like, we're not even in the studio and I'm already like nervous about it. So I was just missing.
Wait, this is weird to me that you get nervous going into the studio. But I'm serious because I feel like you would be confident. But I hate going in the studio. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm not a session guy, but I'm not anything like when it comes to guitar. But I feel like I'm definitely not a session guy. But I feel like you would be comfortable in the studio.
I'm more comfortable now for sure. I mean, after the 6 records or whatever, like I'm confident that I think what helps sometimes is not playing at first, like thinking about what you want to play.
What do you mean?
Like if people are like playing and the vibe is going on, like instead of just like, I mean, sometimes it works, just kind of jamming along. Like if I'm like sing, like what do I sing a part? Like think about what it would be. Because sometimes if you're really an exceptional musician, you can do that simultaneously. You can like just be like, I want to do that. But I'm not quite at that level. I mean, I am with certain parts, but if you think of it and then you're like, okay, that's cool, and then you kind of chase after it,
you can figure out how to play.
Yeah. Sometimes that works better.
Wait, so is that how you can? Wait, so that's what was happening with One Man Band?
Oh no, One Man Band. Yeah, I was just kind of trying to figure out what I might play on the song.
Yeah. And because what do you have? Just cowboy chords that someone's strumming, or someone's strumming chords?
Yeah,
that's what's
like
there.
Trevor, I think, has the work tape of it somewhere, and it's just kind of like everyone's jamming. But that like the way it starts now was just me sitting there in the dressing room, and Trevor was like, "That's actually cool. We should do it like that." And I was like, "Perfect.
we got the part."
Yeah.
And then you go and you just what you do, you record on an iPhone. Then when you get in the studio, you play the part for it. Mm-hmm. See, this is unbelievable. I can't do any of this. I can't come up with anything to play on a song. I'd never be able to do it. But so you go in the studio and you do it, and then so do you just play that and then do you just know when you have it basically? Or does someone say, okay, that's the take? Like who tells you when you have the right take or not?
I mean, the producer, Shane.
Yeah, so Shane tells you that was the take.
Yeah, I mean, he's not necessarily listening to me, or like he's not like, oh, you messed up on that bar or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of more I have to keep track. Like, I need to like redo bar 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's there for just kind of the general vibe, like what felt good, what in the whole band,
Is there anything, because I always listen to, your music and like most music that gets commercially released and it always sounds perfect to me. But is there anything anywhere on an Old Dominion song that drives you crazy that snuck through?
Oh my God. There's a moment in a hotel key where like it's just like this random like couple of notes that like stick out. I think maybe it was in verse 2 or something.
No, what are you talking about?
And
are
I'm
you
like,
serious?
literally, that was like, I wasn't even playing. That wasn't even doing a take. Like, I don't even know how it ended up in there. It was like just some noise, like some notes I was playing.
Wait, what do you mean? Is it really in verse 2?
I think so.
And wait, what? When people go back and they listen to the song, where are they listening for it? Like,
it's very subtle. I mean, you're not gonna
notice it,
right? I'd have to like. I can't tell you right now. Like, oh, it's minute 120 or whatever. Like, I'd have to listen to it, but there's definitely some notes in there that were not intentionally supposed to be in there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Who puts that in?
I don't know. Someone smart, because it was a hit, so whatever.
It worked.
Yeah.
They're going to look back and they're going to say it was those extra notes in verse 2 that really propelled it to the second chorus.
Yeah,
that really made it all work. That made it all happen. What's been unsaid here? The new album's out now on Spotify, Parallel Love. And you're touring. That's sick.
Yeah.
How fun is that going to be?
I hope really fun.
How big's the band going to be?
I think it's going to be 5 and me. So drums, bass, guitar, steel, and guitar, utility guy, keys, and then me.
You gonna get some merch?
I think so. I got to do something.
Can I get your face on a shirt?
Yeah.
I'll wear it all the time.
I was thinking about putting the record cover on there.
That's probably a better idea.
Yeah. You get 2 of my faces because it's like a
sort of
double image.
The double image thing. Mm-hmm. How great is that going to be?
That's right.
All right, so we're hitting the road. We've got a bus. We've got a tour manager.
Mm-hmm.
This could be like a big deal.
Huge.
Why? I feel like when you're off the road from Old Dominion, the last thing I want to do is go back on the road.
No, trust me, I've thought about that.
but you like being on the road.
I do.
Is the takeaway.
And I mean, this is it's going to be a completely different experience. It's like, number one, there's no pressure. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to make it with this or whatever. Yeah. It's just like for fun. I'll hopefully get a bunch of guys together that are my buddies, and we'll just go. And, I've never went on a tour playing my own songs before. So, I'm like singing my own songs.
Are you going to have good banter between all your songs?
I hope so. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether
I can help you with this. Maybe we can figure it out. Are you going to do "Oh Darling" broken up but throughout the set? Are you going to play, and maybe you'll end the set with "Oh Darling"? Is that what's going to happen?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about starting the whole thing by myself for a little, and then bringing like some band members on, and it's supposed to be an intermission. So, and I'll play some songs, like probably some songwriter songs that I wrote for other people, and then the second part of the show will just be the record, I think, and then some other, maybe some few.
You're going to do an intermission?
That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I was told that I was supposed to do.
Why do you have to do an intermission?
Because you got to sell beer, dude. That's
God.
really why we're all here. Why they're all there. That's why I'm there.
It's to drink the beer and
to make the people buy the beer.
To sell the beer.
Yes.
God, this is how long is this? This is going to be like a 2-hour show.
No, I think it's going to be 2 45-minute sets, I think.
2 45-minute sets.
I hope I can't do anything more than that. It's too much.
You can't
already.
do anything else. Would you throw in any covers? Just any crazy covers?
Yeah, I'm going to play like a James Taylor song or something, or maybe some Allman Brothers songs, so like later on with the band. I'm
going to come to one of these shows.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. Where are you doing in Nashville that you're playing Friday? Where are you playing? Where'd you end up playing?
It's at the Blue Room.
Oh, Third Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's just you acoustic?
No, that's with the band.
Oh, I got to come to this.
Yeah. Let me know. I'll put you on the list.
This is going to be incredible. Put me on. When is it? It's next Friday?
The 17th.
When is that? What day is that? Someone tell me what day it is.
It is Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in town. I'm going to go. It would have been great, though.
Yeah.
Send me some videos. Roxy, so someone on your team will send me some videos.
I think they're actually filming it.
Oh, my God. They're going to do a pro shot?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
First show. Why not film it?
I'll get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be historical.
I don't feel like I'm losing my voice right now. It's strange.
Don't get me sick, Brad. I swear to God.
No, I'm not sick.
You can't get me sick. I walked into Todd Sharp amplifiers earlier today.
Never heard of that.
He's like a guitar amp repair guy. And he was like, oh, I should be wearing a COVID mask. I was around someone who got COVID. And I was like, first of all, if you're not wearing it, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because they were putting that stress onto me. I was like, everything's fine until you brought that up. Like no one's sick. You're probably not going to get sick. I'm not going to get sick. Yeah. Now I'm in my head about it. It's like, just don't even bring it up. That's the... Brad Tursi on the podcast. Have we left anything out? What's been unsaid?
I don't think so, man. We talked a lot.
What are you doing later? Are you playing some guitar later?
I think I'm going to go out to dinner with Ryan Hurd, actually.
Yeah. Where are you guys going to go?
I think we're going to go to St. Vito.
What is that?
I've never been. It's like a focacceria.
Like focaccia? Like bread?
I think it's more of a restaurant. Yeah.
It's a restaurant.
But they have a lot of that.
Does he call you up and he says, dude, we're overdue to catch up?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Did. He called me about this record and he was like, oh, I'm excited. And then we hadn't caught up in a while. So
I heard you had a dinner with Espo the other night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys really get along, right?
I love that guy.
Why? He's the best, right?
The best.
What do you do with him? You just talk about wine and
just try not to get hammered, which I didn't succeed at because I was throwing up all day yesterday.
No, you weren't. Because of Espo?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Does that.
He's a tough one to keep up
Can he
with.
outdrink anyone?
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love Espo. He's the best. All right, Brad Tursi on the podcast. Dude, thanks so much for coming on. The record's incredible.
Oh, thank you.
It's really great. I really enjoyed listening to it. I don't always, sometimes I listen to these records and they suck. This one was actually really good.
Oh, thank you.
This one was very listenable. I think it was all great. The guitar playing's great. The acoustic guitar sounds great on it.
Thank you.
I thought the electric guitar sounded great too, but now that I know it's not you, I think it sounded awful. It's trash. Should have had you on it. No. All right, we're done. Wrap it.